Hi everyone, it's Jen. Welcome back to BumbleBeeCrafts. So part 4 of my dressmaker's journal. We're carrying on sorting out my pages and I'd like to actually get my signatures put together so that we can then start pulling pages out individually and working on them. So last video I did the spine pockets that I wanted to include. So they're all done and ready. Let's pop our cover to one side, and I've pulled out some more coffee dye pages, so I've got those to choose to go into there. I've got some lined coffee dyed, and I thought I'd put a little envelope in each of those that have been dyed. We did these last week. I keep saying last week, it's last video. So they're a couple of pages ready. These pages are all ready to go in there. I've pulled out a couple of book pages, and I've gone and pulled out some of my fabric pages. Now I do have videos in my Fabric Friday playlist for all of these as to how I've made them. And then this one, it's got the lovely lace on that side of it. I think that'd be lovely for pinning like little samples of fabric and things like that on in the pocket. So that's those. These I will probably come and do, as I said, a separate video for those ones. So I'm just going to tuck them in there and put my spine. So that's those ready. And then I've gone and pulled out a page of each for the spine of those. And these, I was thinking I actually wanted to keep them like this so that I could use them in the journal. So I'd probably want to sort of attach them to the page and have them folded somehow. So we'll look to do that in a moment. But first things first, I need to kind of divide these up into my two signatures. So we'll have a fabric page in each, like so. We've got, let's see, a book page can go in each, one of these in each. So I'm going to have that one in there, that one in there, that one and that one of these in each, one of these in each signature. I will then, how many we've got? We've got 3 of each of those, and then it's now deciding our pages in here. Okay. So we just split it like that for those two, 1 and 1 in there. I'm just randomly choosing the pages. So these two have got fabricy bits on. They're kind of, what have we got on these? Those two, and we've got a spare one, so I haven't quite got enough for each, but we'll see. How many does that give us? That gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm not counting that, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 for each, which I actually think, given the spine and the space we've got, is actually quite a nice amount. So I might put that in, I might not. I'm going to leave that to one side for now. And now what I want to do is decide on my front cover and then my inside cover. I definitely think this is going to be the front of one of the signatures. So that's my front. Now let's just see, all of these are just decorated up inside, aren't they? Possible that I might use that one, and then let's have a look. Plain on there, plain on there. Maybe we could do a bit of a waterfall effect. That's going to be the same size as that. Maybe we could have that. Do I want it? And that in the centre of the page. usually have something a little bit more patterned, but I think what I could do is really decorate that up with some of the little, let me just grab them, some of my little dresses and things like that, and have it as a real nice focal point. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that as the center. That's the outside. So now I just need to, I tend to fan them out so I can see what I've got. What do we want over that page? We go with that. Just for the coffee dye. Now, I try not to think too much when I'm doing this unless I want them to really, really match. What's on there? Another one of those. Should we have that in there? I just wonder what this would look like. With auditioning the ones, definitely not the blue. Thinking maybe that one. Yeah, I think that one might be quite nice. So let's then have this on here. We can always change the orientation afterwards. Pop you there. You can go over the page like that. I think I want to see some of the fabric, so I'm going to have the shorter page there. Coffee dye page, that page, that page, coffee dye, and then the cover page that I want to use. Okay, so we have, let's have a flick through and just see. Obviously there's going to be decoration on the edge of the pages and things like that. I think I'm happy with that little collection. Yes. Okay, so that's one signature put together. Now I'm going to do exactly the same for this one. Lay out my options, and I'm just going to have a look and see if one of these has got a pattern on the inside. That one's stripy, that one was that. What about these? I think they're just plain on the inside. Yeah. So which one do I want to go for? Both stripy. I'm going to have this one as my center page. And looking at my options, I'm torn between these two for my front cover. Let's have a little look at what I think they would look like in here. That's always a good thing to do. So like you've got your signature there. That would look really nice. And then you've got the signature. This one, that's decided. that helps when I can't decide on what to use for my front cover. So that's my front cover, that was my inside. These are ready to just go in. Okay, so let's start with the inside, and I will probably do something very, actually I was going to do something very similar, but I'm just thinking I might, because this one's got the lovely pocket, I might have that in the center instead, Or do I want that wrapping? I think I might actually want that wrapping around. Might give it a bit more strength. Yeah, I think I like that wrapped around, something like that. So I am going to do the same again with that in the center. Okay, so that's my center. Then I think a coffee dye. I have that book page over there. I'm just wondering about what that would look like. Let's have a look. Definitely not the blue. Oh, I think that one inside that actually might be quite nice that way. So let's grab this one. I think this would look good. Slightly grungier, this one. Then I'm going to go with, let's do the blue. Coffee dye and this little thing. I'm going to put that in there. That's nice. Yeah, the blue would work over there. Bit of coffee dye. This and the fabric page is quite near the front on this one, and I'm hoping it would look okay in there. Yes, it would. Okay, so let's have a quick look and see what we think to the arrangement of these signatures. Lovely centerpiece there. I do like making focal points in my center pages. That's the other side. That page and then that page. So yes, there we go. That is the two signatures, and they will go in the journal with this one at the front. So that's going to go in there. Then we're going to have our lovely two pockets, and then this one will go here. How are we on size? Not bad at all, because she's going to get filled and chunky. So actually that is going to work really well. I think that's going to be lovely with the pocket. And then you got a pocket. Let's just see what we think. Combination, colour looks good with that. The colour looks good with that. Yeah, I'm happy. Really happy with those. I do like things to match. I am a very matchy person. Okay, so I've just realised that's not all the pages that we've got. We have this page that's got to go in. These 3 pages that have got to go in, which would then, and then that spare one. So if we did that page and that page, we would just choose 2 of those. Okay, we'll come to those. I might add more pages. I might add more pages. Now I wanted to put one of these in each of the signatures. So let's just see what page. Just wondering, maybe like a page like that would be quite nice. So I'm just attaching it to the side. I will fold it over and then fold this bit up, maybe take that bit out or something. I need to think on that. Let's have a look at my time. Okay, 15 minutes. Shall we work on this and have a play then? So I'm going to leave them like so. Let's have a think of this. So I definitely know that that is going to need to be folded up. And let's just see, we don't want it, so if we had that folded like so, we're still going to need to cut a bit off the end. So what I think I'm going to do is just cut a little bit down here. Let's open that back up to do it, because we don't need all that extra white space on the side. I'll leave a little gap. Let's just do that. I might do the same again this side, just to give it a bit. Let's make it 5.5 by 5.5. Now, is that, yeah, see that fits, and obviously there's going to be a little bit of a join as well anyway. Okay, so we've got you tucked up. Let's just fold over our little bit that is going to act as our little tab. So that's going to act as the tab. I want to just cut off that. I'm just going to do this corner. Okay, so that's my little tab on the page. That would tuck up. I think I just need to make this slightly more angled, like so. That looks a bit better. That would fold over onto the page. And then so we've got a flip out, you flip down so you could do your designing. That would flip up on there. Okay, I didn't quite do that straight. Let's just trim this little bit off. Okay. Yeah, I like that. That's really cool. Now what do I attach it with? I don't know what I've got down here. And I definitely think it needs a bit inking and stuff like that. Okay, I also want to round the corner. I'm going to round that corner and round these two corners. Oh, here comes the rain again. If it gets too loud on the garden roof, I will have to close the door. Yeah, just softens that nicely. Okay, inking. What do I want to ink it with? And I'm thinking about what do I want to attach it with, whether I want to make that into a little pocket on here as well. Let's have a look at what scrappy bits I've got in here. About that goes onto there, and we could make that a little pocket, little tuck. That would be quite nice, wouldn't it? Okay, because then I'll link that one up. So let's do, where's the pencil gone? There it is. flip it over this side, I can see my mark then. If we do that, and cut this. Okay, so that's going to go on there as a pocket. So let's just cut a little. Oh, we're not straight. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see if we can straighten it up on here. There we go. Thinnest of slithers, but that's fine, that's straight now. So my center is about there. Let's grab this and just do a little notch out of that. So we know that that's going to be a pocket. This can just glue onto the inside of the pocket there as a flap. Okay, inking. Let's ink. Okay, so I want to just ink along here. That's going to be the join. Quick light ink along there. That's it. We did say weather forecast that we would have thunderstorms and everything this weekend. So the rain. We've had the driest and hottest spring on record here in the UK. And now we're having nothing but storms and heavy rain, which is probably going to cause flooding in certain areas. Okay. So that looks grungied up and old. So I want some glue on this bit. Oh, that rain is really heavy. Okay, what I think I'm going to do is flip everything over, just so that I can kind of get it center on here. That's a bit better. A little bit of time to move things around with this glue. Okay, we're there. Okay, so that's on there. And that should be fine going in, anything going into the pocket. I might just add like a little paper clip or something just to hold that up as well, which is good. And then that, just want to give it a little bit more ink along there. So now we can just glue that onto our page, and that's a flip, but we're attaching it with a pocket. How fun is that? I've not done anything like this before. looks about straight. So I'm just going to use my weights, weight it down when it dries. There we go. How we do the time? 25 minutes. So I think in my second signature, I will do exactly the same with this, with a flip, but I might not attach it with a pocket. I'm not sure how I'll attach that one. But that gives you an idea for attaching a flip. Oh, I think I'm going to have to get Takana out of the room and close the thing, because you could probably hear the rain on the video. Gosh, it's throwing it down. Well, I'm going to call this a video then for now, shorter video for me, but I will be back and we can carry on playing with the pages, decorating them up and just generally working and crafting and having some fun. So take care everyone, see you shortly, bye!